Hello ladies, I am so excited to share with you some wonderful books. Some are ones I've read a million times, some are new to me, and some are those I've had on my shelf for years but I just have not yet read them. For most of my life, I have been an extreme bookworm. From kindergarten through high school, I read whenever I could get the chance. Something only homeschoolers will probably understand is being grounded from reading because our parents said, you need to get outside. I was that kind of child. My parents were always super cautious and careful about what they let my sisters and I read, what we could handle at different ages, and just the overall maturity of the content. In the past couple of years, life has just gotten busy and reading has not been a very huge priority for me, but I'd really like to get back into it. While compiling a list of books I would love to read, I kept coming across so many on my shelf, I thought, why don't I share with all of you some of these? I won't be able to read them all this fall, but hey, maybe between all of us, we can. I'm going to start with my favorite thing to read during the autumn months, cookbooks, especially these gooseberry patch ones. If you can find them, get them. They're wonderful. I have never come across a bad recipe in these, and there are so many of them. The only autumn ones I have are this slow cooker recipes and this welcome home for the holidays because it has some Thanksgiving recipes inside of it. I've really been enjoying reading through this slow cooker one. I found a chicken and dumplings recipe, and slow cooker meals are the best, especially when you're working, and I work 3 days a week at least, so it's very helpful to have something that I can kind of just throw in the crock pot in the morning and let it run all day. Someone gave me this new Kitchen Basics cookbook for my bridal shower, I believe, and it has my absolute favorite pasta sauce recipe. So I'd really like to delve into some of the other recipes in this because it seems like it has a lot of creative ideas that you wouldn't think of, and I really do want to expand my repertoire of recipes. Next, we have my second favorite type of book to read in the fall, which is classics. Granted, I am a huge fan of classics any time of year, but especially in the time where the trees start turning their colors and the air just gets a little nippier, I find myself wanting to read classics all day long. The next book I'll be reading is The Pilgrim's Progress. I know you can't see the title, it's tiny on the side here, but it is such an amazing story. If you are a Christian, you need to read The Pilgrim's Progress at some point in your life. It was written by a pastor named John Bunyan while he was in prison for preaching the Word of God. And it is, I'd say, next to the Bible, it is the book that has helped me the most in my Christian walk. It really helps open your eyes to different temptations that we face, different struggles that we have, and how ultimately Jesus, our King, can help us overcome them. It's definitely a little bit more of a difficult read, but for slightly younger readers, there is The Dangerous Journey, which is another version of it. Still, there are some illustrations that could be a little frightening to small children, so I would use discretion with sharing it with them, but having my dad read that to us girls is a great memory. Also, they just made a new movie of The Pilgrim's Progress, and I believe it's free on YouTube with ads. I just watched it with my husband the other night for the second time. It's so good. But again, it's not really a children's movie, so just use discretion. But I think it's a story that you can start telling your children if you read the book. By the way, this is my pink chair. This is my new favorite chair. We actually got it for free. It's a super long story, but it was kind of a nice surprise, so you'll be seeing it a lot. Next on the list is Jane Eyre. I don't know why, but this just gives me fall vibes. Again, a book for older readers. It's kind of a strange story. So if I'm talking to a high schooler, a boy probably wouldn't be very interested in this book, but a girl, I'd probably recommend being 17 when you read this. But anyways, it is a very interesting read. It's a very different story, but I enjoy it. Last but certainly not least is Little Women. This holds a special place in my heart. I have 3 sisters, so it's always been something I've connected with, I guess you could say. The first time I watched the movie, and even the second, I bawled my eyes out. Oh, I won't spoil it for you. Sorry, I literally almost spoiled this book for you, but you've got to read it. Don't worry, it's not a sad story. It ends happy, but there are sad portions. It's just a very sweet book. If you've seen the new movies and you feel like you don't like the story, please realize that modern interpretations of this story do not stay true to the storyline. It is not the feministic story that is often portrayed. It may lean a little bit more towards feminism of the time, but not feminism of our time, if that makes sense. This is a great book for homeschooling as well, and this puffin rendition is just so lovely and so beautiful. I use it as a decoration in my home. Next, I'm going to move on to historical fiction. These are good historical fiction books, ones we use for school, not like romance novels. Caddy Woodlawn is such a cute story. I think there are 2 books, and for some reason, fall time makes me feel like pioneer out west sort of vibes. I'm saying vibes a lot today. I don't normally use that word, but I think it applies. And Caddy Woodlawn is just such a cute story about a little redhead who's kind of a tomboy, but eventually she does learn some good lessons and has some adventures with her brothers. So, super cute book. The next books I'm about to show you, I will try to find online and link below. I will do my best to link a lot of these below. These might be particularly hard. They were first released, I believe, by Vision Forum, which is no longer in existence. I may be wrong about that, but they are very solid books, but again, that company I don't think is around anymore. These are the Chosen Daughters books. They are about real women in history. It's like historical fictions based on their lives. I think they are as true to the real stories as possible. So very, very informative, but also really takes you back to that time and makes you think, if I were in their shoes, what would I do as a Christian? Many of them were martyred, some were not, but many of them were. We have Olympia Morata, Margaret Wilson, who is this? Oh, Edith Cavell, and Queen Jeanne d'Albert. I think that's how you pronounce it. It's been a while since I took French. For teenage young ladies, those are wonderful books, really solid. It would be remiss of me not to mention Lamplighter books. I currently only have On the Edge of the Moor as more of a fall-themed book. They're all wonderful and would work well for any season, but we're just focusing on cozy fall books today. My sister has Ishmael Self-Raised and The Hidden Hand, all by Eden Southworth. The best books I have ever read. The Hidden Hand is by far my favorite, but those other 2 are amazing as well. I will link those below, probably for older high school readers, so maybe ages 17 and up, possibly 16, depending upon the parent's discretion. If you're not familiar with Lamplighter books, they are books written back in historical times. So this one was written, let me see, in 1897, and they are republished and rebound in these beautiful, beautiful bindings. They are all very scripturally based and have wonderful lessons in them, and they really make you think. They're also beautifully illustrated. My heart. For homemaking and Christian reads, I would recommend this book, The Life-Giving Home. If it looks a little strange, I accidentally left it out in the rain on a camping trip, and for some reason the cover shrunk. But it is a very helpful book to get you inspired for homemaking, and really it's helped me think of the type of home I want to create for my family. I've read this book through twice. I'm on my 3rd time now. It was first loaned to me by a dear friend who is also interested in homemaking and is very talented at creating beautiful spaces. This is a Christian book, so it all points back to the Lord and creating a home where especially children can grow, learn to love the Lord, and see God's beauty through the way we keep our home. Last but certainly not least for Christian reads, Beholding and Becoming. This book is so beautifully illustrated. Let me see. Yes, okay. Look at this. Just look at that. Like, it's just beautiful. It's like aesthetically pleasing, and Ruth Chow Simmons, I believe that's how you say her name, She is an amazing watercolor artist and a woman of God. She has the ministry, I believe it's called Grace Laced. I'll link it below. And this book shows you how to behold an attribute of God. I believe that's how it is. And then how to become it, how to implement it into your everyday life. It's very convicting. It looks like it's just a feel-good book, but it is not. It is a devotional in my opinion. My dear friend Emma gave this to me a while ago. Emma, if you're watching this, thank you so much. I have bought multiple copies since then to give away as gifts. And the pages themselves could be artwork. It's beautiful. To wrap this up, I want to share with you some children's books that would be wonderful, cozy autumn reads, especially as read-alouds. I was going to show you a couple series of books, but I think I'll save those for winter because, in my opinion, there's more time to read during the winter, so you can read a full series more easily. For the first book, The Cricket in Times Square. This book was illustrated by Garth Williams, the same person who illustrated the Little House on the Prairie books. The illustrations are very quality, which I believe in showing children quality illustrations like my mom did, because it'll inspire them to do good art and to look for good art. But it's just such a sweet story and so interesting. I just remember being like captivated by it. I actually did, I think, a whole study on it with my sister when we were younger, where we took like our spelling, reading, dictation, and a bunch of other school projects from this book. So, highly recommend. I might read it again. James Herriot's Treasures for Children. This is, I believe, a favorite of my little brother's. It is written about a Scottish veterinarian around the time of World War II. And they're just very calming, interesting reads, teaches kids a lot about animals. Masterpiece has come out with the first season of a TV show based off of these books. This book in particular is just pulling from some of the bigger books. James Herriot has, I believe, multiple books for older readers, but this is a great one for kids, beautiful illustrations, and quite an enjoyable read. This final book is called Over the River and Through the Woods. Well, wait, hold on a minute. So for the final book, I thought this was a different book. I think my little brother has it. I have a book about a little squirrel inviting over his friends for Thanksgiving, which is a super cute children's read. But this is Over the River and Through the Woods. So it's the poem in a book, which is Thanksgiving. So yes, also a fall read. Thank you so much for watching this video, ladies. I hope it's been a help to you and inspired you to do some more reading this fall. Please let me know, what are your favorite fall reads, or just books in general? If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking it and subscribing to this channel if you're not already. Have a wonderful rest of your day and happy reading.